The world is undergoing radical reinvention: politics, finance, technology, and even personal identity. Some of the shifts are happening by choice, and the others are happening out of necessity. But no matter who you are, change is no longer optional. It's happening, and the only question left is whether you'll fight it or use it. If life had a manual, it'd be rendered obsolete by the end of this podcast. I'm Andrea Leigh, and this is The Andrea Leigh Show. The world is changing faster than most people can keep up with. The financial system is shifting. Global economies are restructuring. Washington is making moves behind the scene, and technology is advancing at a rate that makes entire industries obsolete overnight. But the real question isn't just how the world is changing. It's how you're responding to it. And are you using the moment to reinvent yourself? Or are you resisting because the unknown feels too big? The financial system is changing, and it's not optional. Spending has to be cut, political figures are allowing it, and digital currency is forcing all of the reinvention. If you build an economic system where growth isn't based on production, but based on how much money you can print, the system will eventually fail. The foundation of a real economy is productivity, the actual goods, services, and labor that's being exchanged, not just the numbers on the screen reported every night by the talking heads. Production has to return to the United States. Investors from around the world promising to bring investment. They know, with the dollar being the currency of choice, if you want a real economy, it has to be based on something tangible, and that means bringing production back here to the country. Real productivity gives the economy something solid to base itself on, and without it, the entire system remains artificial and unstable. And if we don't do anything, it's only going to get more unstable. The link between the economic control that you're seeing now and the tax rates, political football that's been used highly effectively in the past, the days may be over. Because when you reduce taxes, you give people more control over their own money, which means they decide where the economic power lies. That is a real economic control, and it helps shift the power from government back to individuals. A lower tax system isn't about allowing individuals to keep more money. It's about allowing the economy to be shaped by real consumer choices rather than a government manipulation. Digital currencies, it's why government is scrambling. The total cryptocurrency market cap is currently $2.2 trillion, and it's proving that digital assets are no longer fringe ideas. Over 90% of central banks, that's national banks or semi-national banks, are actively exploring central bank digital currencies. Governments are simply scrambling to keep control over the changing economy. Bitcoin alone has outperformed every major asset class over the last 10 years, signaling a shift away from the traditional financial system. More than 50% of Americans under 40 own some form of cryptocurrency, proof that the younger generation is already opting out of the traditional banking structures. Over $7 trillion worth of digital assets moved through blockchain networks in 2024 alone. Digital assets, digital currencies, pegged to fiat currencies, national currencies, now process more transaction volume than MasterCard and Visa combined. The Federal Reserve, that's here in the United States, and the European Central Bank have both admitted that if people abandon their national currency for the digital alternative, it could undermine national economies altogether. So the push for government-controlled digital dollars is happening because leaders know they can't stop the digital money, so they're trying to control it instead. The political reinvention that you see right now in Washington, it's busy, it's noisy, seems like a lot, but Washington's playing the long game, and this is why. Both parties understand that the financial shift has to happen. Nobody wants to take the blame for it, and DOGE is how they're allowing the change while distancing themselves from direct responsibility. DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, The figurehead is Elon Musk. What a great way to let the private sector, quote, fix government inefficiency. Both parties get cover, letting the spending cuts happen without either side really having to own the fallout. Both parties know we have to adapt. Because if the economy shifts aren't managed properly in the coming years, the consequences could be catastrophic. No one wants to be in power holding the bag when that happens. Democrats are feeling the cuts first because they lost the election. And big government programs are the first to be restructured. Republicans are quiet for now, knowing their priorities are next, but waiting to see how things play out. The AI revolution, transforming industry. The implications for us all, employment, and how we leverage AI for our professional and personal growth is tremendous. AI is automating tasks across various sectors, leading to concerns about job losses, estimating that 47% of U.S. jobs are at risk of automation in the coming decades, probably sooner at this rate. AI is expected to create new job opportunities, particularly in tech development, maintenance, and data analysis, and the industry could contribute up to 6% to the global economy, global GDP by 2030, leading to new employment opportunities worldwide. And what does that allow for you and me? We can focus on our strategic and creative sides. With AI reducing the need for large teams, individuals can now start businesses and projects that were previously resource intensive, a financial burden. The personal learning, the individual development of new skills, and the adaptation to the job market has never been better. Jobs requiring manual dexterity, such as plumbing, electrical work, and carpentry, far less likely to be automated. And if you have the skill of sympathy and compassion, human interaction, nursing, therapy, a lot less susceptible to automation. Get a job description of your dream job together, because never been a better time to reinvent yourself. It can help you if you're an influencer with your content creation. Ask me about it. But the nuanced understanding of the experience of art and music and literature, pretty tough to replicate. Personal reinvention, it's no longer an option. The world isn't going to wait for you to catch up. Your reinvention, it's happening and needs to happen. Reinvention is happening with or without you. It's not just a personal decision anymore. It's for your survival. And if you continue to hold on to the old version of yourself, it's not going to work when the world is moving this fast. And the only way forward is to adapt to it. The resistance just makes it that much harder. And reinvention, it doesn't mean losing yourself. It means evolving into the best version of yourself. And you don't get left behind. Financial reinvention is happening because it has to. Political reinvention is happening because it has to. Personal reinvention, well, you better. But the media reinvention, now that's a different story. The media doesn't need to fix anything. They need to keep people engaged. They found the best way to do that isn't with solutions, but with division. That's why we're seeing some of the same narratives over and over. That's why we see the gender debate still dominate the headlines every night on the news. Something I have just a little bit of experience with. The gender debate, it keeps people emotionally engaged. Media thriving in the division, selling the fear, the outrage, and the conflict because they think that's what's driving the engagement. But why are we still hearing the same narratives over and over again? Why is the media still pushing it? As long as people are fighting over identity, they're not focused on the bigger issues, like economics and AI-driven job loss. Destruction. The gender debate, it keeps people divided. And once you step outside of sports, it just becomes an argument about personal freedom. Most people are indifferent, wanting to live their own lives. Division sells. The world is changing fast. Reinvention is happening everywhere. not only in politics, tech, and society, but even within ourselves. And here's the truth. There's never been a better time to reinvent yourself, because for the first time, it's more in your control than ever before. But here's the catch. You won't stay ahead of it. It's moving too fast. So the only question left is, are you going to fight it out of fear, probably over something you've been told? Or are you going to respond with acceptance? That acceptance doesn't mean agreement. You're providing yourself a path forward. Now, if the path is already there, there's a good chance it's not yours. Your reaction, fear, resistance, your response, adaptability, it defines your future. So what's it going to be? React or respond? The answer is yours. Once you understand that this is your life and you need to own it, you'll discover people are indifferent to you. And in that indifference is freedom. A freedom to be yourself without a fear of judgment. I'm Andrea Leigh, and this is The Andrea Leigh Show.